welcome back to the channel. I'm Soph, and it's been a while since I've filmed and edited this. As you can see, I'm kind of in a different location. Basically, February and March were a little bit crazy. I changed my whole room, even moved my big ass shelf over there. It was over there, but now it's over there. And I have been sort of in a reading slump. It's not exactly a reading slump because I do read. I just don't have a lot of time to read, and so I'm a very slow reader because I decided to have a social life and, you know, have a boyfriend and all. So my time for reading has dwindled a little bit. But now we're back, and, you know, back-ish, but back nonetheless. And I'm excited because April is the month of the Magical Readathon, which is back, and we're doing Aurelium Academy, and we are doing the Spring Equinox. It is very similar to what was the Newts and Yowls. So the Spring Equinox will be the equivalent of the Owls if you did the Magical Readathon before. And the Autumn Equinox, which will be in August, will be the equivalent of the Newts. Same sort of prospect in it. You're gonna have professions in a leaflet. You kind of choose your profession. You have to take some classes for it. In the Spring Equinox, you only have to read one book per class. And then in the Autumn Equinox, you will have to read as many books as the grade you need in that class. So I'm excited. I am playing as Althea, and Althea was my favorite, and she's not my favorite right now, but you know, I love her. She's in my heart. She was my first ever character in D&D that I ever created, and I only got to play her for a little bit, but she is amazing. Her personality is very different from mine, so it was very fun to get to interpret her, you know, as a first-time player and everything. It was really cool. So I'm playing as her. She is an elf princess and a druid, and she is in the House of Arcane. I took the test yesterday and I got the House of Arcane. So we get, as a conduit, we get orbs and crystals, which is great. She's a druid. She also has a staff as a conduit. And I did do the Gear Up readathon, and I did do the Novice Path readathon. So we're cool in that prospect. And right now we're just preparing for the Spring Equinox. But before that, we're gonna have to know what my cards give me. This is the part that I'm afraid of, and we're gonna do my cards first, and then I'll go over everything I have chosen for Althea for the Spring Equinox, and I'll share with you everything that I'm planning on reading. Okay, so I have opened this here. So let's start shuffling, and I think I'm missing cards because I had some separated, you know, because those were the ones I chose in the last month that I filmed. But I think with the changes I have lost some cards, so after this video probably I will take a little time to see if I have everything or not, because I do believe that I'm missing some cards here. And okay, let's do this, and let's do this. A to Z reading challenge. So I need to find a book whose letter is not yet filled in my A to Z challenge. And opening up my A to Z challenge, because it is in my bullet journal, I have, okay, I'm gonna tell you which letters I have completed, and then we'll try and find something that does not start with these letters. So we have A, then I completed with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I have F, From Blood and Ash. H, of House of Earth and Blood. I, as in the Inheritance games. I have M for marked, and I have O for Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I have S for Skyward, which means I'm gonna do this. Hang on, I need to go get the book. Okay, so for this challenge, I am picking D, and for that, I'm reading Dark Dawn by J. Kristoff. This is book number 3 in the Nevernight series. I have read books 1 and 2 in last years, and I love them both. I give them both 5 stars, so I have a little bit of fear of things ending, and so I tend to let last books of series just hang out. And I'm gonna try and finish this series this year because this is the only one I'm missing, and I heard it's really, really good, and I gave 5 stars to both the first and the second, and so I'm kind of scared that I'm gonna be disappointed, but this is my pick for my A to Z challenge. So let's go for let's go for round number 2. I'm gonna do 5 rounds as I've been doing, and then we'll just try and fit in books from one side to the other and see what is happening here. So let's do this. It's Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. So let me just open my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, and I need something that's gonna fit something in here, and I think, I don't know, this is hard. Okay, I know. I'm gonna choose The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood, and I'm gonna try and fit it in, dear Lord, in a book you know nothing about, because the only thing I know it has something to do with the chemistry industry, and I know it is set up in college. That's the only thing I know about the book. I know nothing else. And, as options, I could try and read a book published in 2022. I would just need to find something that would, pull me in that regard that I haven't started reading already, because the only one so far that I have been like, oh my god, is House of Sky and Breath, and I'm reading that already. So that is a good option. I'll go with The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood for our second pick. Now, round number 3. This is the bad thing about not having books you really, really, really want to read. It's because you never know what to read next. So, ebook! Great! Shoot, I have so many. I really do have a lot. I need to go get my Kindle in order to figure out what the hell I'm gonna read. Okay, so for ebook, I'm probably gonna pick So This Is Love by Elizabeth Lim. This is part of the Twisted Tales series, and it's written by a lot of authors, like 3 or 4 authors. There are some that I love. At the top of my head, I can remember Aurora's, like Sleeping Beauty's retelling. I really, really liked it. And I think it was Belle's that I didn't really like. I remember being kind of meh about Rapunzel's, which I read at the beginning of this year. So this is Cinderella's retelling, and the prompt says, what if Cinderella never tried on the glass slipper? So I'm not so sure if we're getting a Cinderella villain arc, or we are getting the same exact story, just a little bit longer. That's kind of my problem with these stories, is that they start with a really cool concept, and for me, like, if Cinderella wouldn't have picked up the glass slippers and wouldn't have tried them on, she would be really, really resentful, and I believe she could turn into a really good villain. I don't know if they'll find something else for the prince to identify her, and so we're just gonna have to go a little bit of a longer walk to get to the exact same ending, which is not my favorite way that these books tend to go. Sometimes they do go that way, sometimes they don't. But let's go for book number 4, round number 4. And this is starting to look kind of good, kind of ish good. Let's see if I can try and fit in some of my Magical Readathon prompts with these books. And yes, okay. Next prompt is audiobook, and I'm choosing This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. And I know this is on script. I'm sorry if this is not the name of the author, but the name of the book is This Is Going to Hurt. And it's basically a diary of a doctor doing his internship in a hospital. So this is really good for my Magical Readathon prompts, and I will explain why in just a little bit. But book number 5. Okay, I would like some fantasy in this, if you please. And I would also like to maybe try and fit in Jennifer L. Armentrout's book number 3 in the From Blood and Ash, because I'm currently reading book number 2, so that would be great. And YA. Well, crap. I have not a clue on what I want to read. Okay, that can be considered YA. Let me just do some little bit of research. Okay, so for YA, I'm choosing The Son of Shadows by Juliet Marillier. This is book number 2 in the Seven Waters saga, and I have physically books number 4 and 5. There are 6 books in this series, and I have read book number 1 as an ebook, and so I'll read book number 2 as an ebook. So I know we are following, let me pull this up because I have no clue who are we following in this book. So I know this book is, well, holy crap. Okay, this book is almost as old as I am. This book was first published in 2001, and the main character is Leodon, son of Sorsha, which was the main character of the first book. And Leodon is the twin sister of Sean, and they have an older sister called Niamh. I think that's how you say this. And Leodon has the sight-seeing gift and the power to communicate telepathically with her brother Sean. And due to the magic in her blood, Leodon will have to face old and new enemies of the family in a fight for survival and for the life of those she loves. Besides, she ends up falling in love with a sworn enemy of her father, the Painted Dude, that leads a group of mercenaries that have a terrible reputation. So, I mean, it has everything for me to love. I loved the first book. I loved books 4 and 5. Fun thing about this series is that you don't have to read it all. You can just start wherever you want. Personally, I started on book number 4 because my mom found it on a book fair and thought that fairy cottagecore mystical tale was exactly what I needed. She's right, I do love fantasy, especially like cottagecore, so my mom knows me. And it's a really, really good book. And I'm excited to get 2 books 4 and 5, having read the rest, because the first times I read books 4 and 5, I was not reading books yet. So I'm excited to see how much my mentality has changed now that I'm reading books. And these are our 5 books for this. Now, let me just open this. Oh crap. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so for the Magical Readathon, as I said previously, you're kind of supposed to try and choose a career and then, you know, go from there. Or you can do the exact opposite, just start with a syllabus, see whatever you can read, and then, you know, match the prompts that you have completed to the careers and see, you know, what calls your attention. I decided to start to choose a career first and then look at the prompts, just so I could, you know, guide myself on what to choose. And some of the choices that I have made in my own cards are done with some determined prompts in mind. So as I said, Althea is a druid, so I knew I wanted a career more turned to the nature. I didn't know if I wanted herbologist or beast tamer or a healer or whatever. And after reading the leaflet, I ended up with 2 careers that I have in mind. They have some similar prompts, so it really depends on how much I am reading. And if I end up reading more than this, then I will just take it as extra credit and go from there. So I have chosen 2 callings, 2 careers, and they are herbologist and healer. They have different types of difficulties. So there's a little bit of in it for everyone. So if you're, you know, a huge ass fast reader, there are careers where you have to read a lot, maybe complete the whole syllabus or anything. And there are careers where you don't have to read as many, so you can just read at your own pace and read whenever you feel like it. And I have chosen a more easier career and a little bit of a more challenging career. It's not like a super challenging career, it's just more challenging than the other one I picked. And so I have chosen herbologist and healer, given Althea's personality, Althea's backstory, and Althea's gifts. These 2 were the ones that made the more sense to me. And for herbologist, I need to complete 2 schools of magic for the spring equinox. I don't know how many I have to complete for the autumn equinox, but we'll get there when we get there. But basically, for the spring equinox, I need to complete alchemy and restoration. For alchemy, the course focus is potion of infatuation, and the reading prompt is reading a book featuring romance. Now, most of the books I have picked have romance in them, so kind of any of them would do. The Love Hypothesis is a contemporary romance. The Son of Shadows is a fantasy romance. There's a lot of romance in the books that I have picked, and I have picked them precisely because of that. There's even a little bit of romance in Dark Dawn. So I have picked a lot of these and a lot of books that kind of mingle with my own personal interests, just so, you know, I could have some kind of pick regarding this particular prompt. For restoration, the course focus is Cure Wounds, and if you are a D&D player, you know this is a spell. I recognized it as a spell when I was explaining everything to my boyfriend yesterday, and I was like, oh my god, this is Cure Wounds, the spell, and he was like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I know G plays D&D, so it was really exciting to, you know, find a little bit of this newer hobby of mine in an older hobby of mine, and I felt so good finding this. By the way, one of my new hobbies is Dungeons and Dragons. I am game mastering Curse of Strahd for a group of friends. Been really fun. We have about 15 sessions. We're about 15 sessions in, and we are in Vallaki. So if you know, leave a comment down below if you're playing, if you're a DM or not. I'm currently the DM for my group. We have done some off weeks where one of us is not able to play, and when we do that, we just turn like who gets to be the DM, and so the other ones can play as well. And I have played some games with this group as well. It was really fun. Anyway, these are the two things that I need to read for herbologist. So as you can see, a very accessible career. But then I have chosen a little bit of a more challenging career just because I may want to read more. I don't know. I may want to read more. And if so, I would like to... I didn't even tell you. It was Cure Wounds, and the prompt is read a book about healers. And that is why I chose This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. So that is the only reason why I chose that book, is because I know that book is about doctors. So yeah. For healer, which is the second calling that I have chosen, we have elemental studies as the first course to appear, and the course focus is, where is it? Oh, here. Basics of Aerodynamics, and it's to read a book under 100 pages. I'm thinking of choosing a manga for this. So, you know, if I'm in not that big of a mood, I can just read a manga and, you know, get a prompt done, which is good. It's fulfilling. And then I have Alchemy, which I have already said, which is a book about romance. I then have Inscription, which is, the course focus is glyph strength, and the reading prompt is an intimidating read. I am considering Dark Dawn for this just because I'm slightly intimidated by last books in a series. So that's why I'm considering Dark Dawn for this. And then we have Restoration, which is a book about healers, and I'm picking the book about a doctor. If for some splendid reason I find myself reading at all hours and finish over 4 books, I will try to go for the other prompts as well, just for extra credits. So I will not be changing my calling to another career just because I completed more prompts. I am keeping this simple. I will just do the other ones for extra credits. That's it. That's all. So I'm excited for this. I really missed the Magical Readathon and the whole aspect of it, the whole community of it. I started, you know, acting on it on Discord yesterday again. I really missed this, and I'm really glad that G was able to put this lovely thing together for us. It is amazing. The art is wonderful. The world, the storytelling is just, it's top notch, okay? It's really top notch. So I'm excited to be a part of it. And if you're in the House of Arcane, comment down below, because we're gonna win this. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.